Thank you very much, Ketki, for joining us today. And I would like to tell our audience that Ketki is program manager for Sister Living Works, who are doing great work towards spreading awareness about mental health and issues related. So, thank you very much, Ketki, for joining us. How are you
Thank you.
doing? How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much.
Great, great. So let's start with please tell us about your NGO in brief and what was the inspiration behind the same?
Okay, so our founder Gayatri, she lost her sisters and cousins to suicide, and she lives in US. So when she heard about her younger sister dying by suicide, she experienced that there is so much pain and grief, but people are not able to talk to each other about why this incident occurred. And she started proactively working and doing her bit of research on why people in India don't talk about suicides as they talk about other issues like death by heart attack or death by any other cause. Then she founded this organization where the aim of the organization is to create awareness, to eliminate the stigma around suicide, and as much as possible try and reduce the number of deaths by suicide. So it is Gayatri's baby, and Gayatri handles this from US, and here in Mumbai and in India, we are doing a lot of workshops and a lot of support groups for people who lost their loved ones to suicide.
Um, so sometimes it's such a dilemma that like the organization,
Hmm,
the thought of the organization is beautiful, like why you have started, but the loss of the loved one is really sad reality.
correct.
And one of the reasons that why maybe organizations like you are coming forward to help people. uh, so we will so I was going through WHO portal sometime back, and I read that approx 8 lakh people die because of suicide every year. And
Yes.
it's little old data. It's not 2019 or 2020 data. So I think since the lockdown started, we have witnessed a lot of suicide cases. So it has
Hmm.
come to limelight that okay, suicide is a real problem. But when I was reading about it, like the statistics, if you'll read, it's alarming. We really need to do
Yes.
something about it. So
Yes.
please tell us, what do you think is the thought of is thought of suicide? I mean, why? What's the psychology behind the thought that okay, everything is over and I need to get rid of my life? What's the thought
See,
behind?
uh, in India, like the globally, it as you said, 8 people are dying by suicide. This is pre-lockdown, pre-corona phase.
Yes.
During corona in India itself, between that 26th March to the first 21 days, there were reported over 300 deaths by suicide in India. See, the reason is not one. So whenever we hear about any death by suicide, there is no one reason. There are multiple reasons which by of suicide. So there are environmental reasons. Environmental reasons could be bullying or stressful relationships, or there could be domestic violence, there could be financial loss, there could be sexual abuse or rape or any stigma around around the person. There could be a sudden event or crisis which put the person into feeling of this entire shame or guilt. And there is this entire exposure to graphic or sensationalized accounts of suicide. Then there are historical causes. So there is if my mother say died by suicide because she was into a very stressful life, and if I also get into the stress, I may also follow the same steps which she has followed. So that is the history of the person, which can increase the risk of suicidal behavior. Or if any individual has a history of physical abuse or sexual abuse, the risk here is very high. Then there are health problems. There are so many health problems currently which we are seeing every day. It could be untreated depressions, it could be neurological disorders, it could be chronic or terminal health problems, and there are untreated mental health problem. There things like bipolar or personality traits of aggression or mood changes disorders or PTSD. All these are not even diagnosed properly in our country. So all this add to the risk of suicide. And then there are cases of cyberbullying and cyber harassment, and addiction to this entire social media, or this games which encourage self-destructive behavior. All these are multiple causes of suicide. So there is no one cause as such. There could be 1000 causes, but one incident could trigger the person to suicide.
uh, Rightly said, like how you you know, you were telling us about lot of reasons. So it's like, so coming to my next question, when a person is facing suicidal tendencies, how
Hmm.
important it's to seek medical help?
So I would say that if there is any person who has coping problem, who cannot adjust to their emotions, who has any problem, who doesn't feel safe, who doesn't feel okay, doesn't know that what is the reason that I am feeling constantly angry, or I am feeling really low, or I'm continuously crying over certain issues. Even if you don't know the reason, and if you have suicidal thoughts, or even if you don't have the suicidal thoughts, but if anything, any of the mood swings or anything which affects your day to day life, seek help from a mental health professional. Because see, not everybody might be aware about signs and symptoms the person may be showing. But if there are signs like I want to kill myself, or if there is anything that I wish I were dead, I don't want to live, or I'm so tired that I can't get up and brush my teeth in the morning, or I want to disappear. If you have those feelings, or even if you see your loved ones giving across those little signs, go and seek help from a mental health professional. And we need to start believing this, and start doing this, that the way you would treat your physical health, if you had a stomach ache, if you had a prolonged headache, if you had any any physical ailment, you would reach out to a doctor. Similarly, reach out to a mental health professional.
Definitely. I mean, in India, mental health is such a big taboo even today that people are more comfortable talking to their friends and sometimes family, but they're
Hmm.
not really comfortable going to the counselors. But the fact is, people, it's easier to, you know, to tell your feelings to strangers and doctors sometimes, because you have been providing a lot of free workshops to employees, students, parents. So in country like India, where it's very difficult to talk about mental health, how do you encourage people to come out and speak about their issues? One of the reasons I know that you're doing a lot of free workshops. So in India,
Yeah.
everyone wants everything free. So one reason, yes, people are coming, but actually, seriously, like how are you convincing people to come and join these mental health workshops?
See, one, I completely agree. It's a very tough task. You literally go to before the lockdown happened, we used to physically do the workshops. Now everything is moved virtually because of whatever situation we are in. But it takes a lot of time and energy, and literally, I'll share an example. I literally go to colleges in Mumbai with my team, and one of the college, I wouldn't like to name the college, but the principal told us, no, don't bring the word S here. S, okay, she didn't even say the complete word. If one of my students does it, then I am gone. My college reputation will be completely gone. And believe me, we convinced her for 1 hour, saying that why it is important to do these workshops, to understand if there is any student of yours who has suicidal thoughts, who may be giving warning signs, who may be sharing his feelings or her feelings to the teachers, to other students or other classmates, who may be sharing the feelings even with you. Maybe you are not aware, you are not able to pick up those signs. And she did got convinced. We also have to share a lot of data that uh, talking about suicide actually decreases the risk of suicide. It doesn't increase the risk, and research has proven that the more you talk about the taboo issues, the more scientific information you give out to the students, to any stakeholders, the risk of suicide goes down. So we do that also. And then we use we use other techniques that, we try and also help colleges to develop policies, that what can they do, or how can they set up that immediate services which counselors can do. So we try and help, but yes, it is difficult. And there are also a lot of not success stories. So out of 5, 6, 7 colleges we go, hardly 3 or 4 understand that, these is important, and a lot of us actually show the doors, but we again go back to them again in a few years.
Yeah, but like how you're saying, like out of 6, 7, maybe 3 to 4 agree, but that's a good start, because
That's a good start, yeah.
that's a good start. I remember when I was studying in school, I never had a counseling session. I've
Hmm.
studied in so many schools, I never had. And I am aware of many friends of mine who had
Hmm.
issues at home. When you're in a school or in a college environment, it's a very different environment. So
Correct.
you don't want to talk about different factors which may tomorrow influence you, or which may force you to commit suicide, which is again, it's a very sad thing. But I think talking and counseling really helps. So are you also trying that schools and colleges make
uh,
it mandatory?
See, we are trying that, but the making mandatory needs a lot of lobbying efforts. So there are a group of NGOs in India who are trying to do that. That they are trying to have mandatory protocols if there is a suicide attempt or around suicidal thoughts, or if there are physical structures. Some of the colleges, like one of the colleges I went to, didn't have grills, and the student was threatening suicide, that if I didn't, because I didn't get so much marks, I wouldn't be accepted at home, and I will jump off this. They didn't have that grill system which generally colleges have. So in that college, they immediately, that incident didn't occur because the counselor was well trained, and the counselor could pull back that student, and there were proper psychotherapeutic services given to that student. But then the college took that action that they will put up the grills. So there are a lot of these physical safety measures are being taken by colleges, but this is a long issue, breaking the stigma, breaking the taboo, and then putting it as a mandatory thing. It's going to take a lot of time, but there are a lot of efforts being made to do that.
Yeah, I think absolutely right. Like, people are now more aware about the mental health issues, and now I think parents are also opening up. Like earlier, if you would say, okay, your child is facing some kind of issue, they might not be able will even listen to it. But now they have an
Hmm.
open mind. They will listen to the teachers, and they are going to counselors. So it's a good change which we see. So
Hmm.
do you think that government should do like should maybe enforce some kind of law, so that to ensure that such kind of policies are to be these policies has to be there in the schools, that okay, every school has to have a a counselor, or every college has to have a counselor, which I think even today many Indian colleges and schools doesn't have, like how you have abroad. Even
Hmm.
for mental health, if you go, government is providing counselors for people who cannot afford a expensive trainer. So they are doing
Hmm.
such efforts. So do you think that our Indian government should do that?
Ideally they should be doing. And see, a lot of places, a lot of schools and colleges do have the counselors also, but again, their training around suicide is lacking. They, many of them don't know how to handle if somebody is in that spur of the moment of killing himself or herself. So there are trainings, a lot of trainings are needed, even to the people who are working on field. And in a lot of places, people cannot afford the mental health services. Schools and
Absolutely.
colleges are definitely there, but even general population cannot afford the services. So there should be some mechanism where, like you have municipal doctors, or say in cities like Mumbai, where you get cheaper physical ailment related medication, we should have something also where mental health services should be affordable to people. I know a lot of helplines run, a lot of counselors are also there, especially in urban setups. Rural areas, they don't have the concepts of counselors or a mental health professional, or if even if they have, the numbers are really low. Like in Mumbai, for every population of 12,000, there is one mental health professional available. That's the Mumbai ratio. Yeah.
Very unfortunate.
Yeah, but that's again, again in that, the quality, the affordability is a big question. So not everybody will be able to afford the fees which very good quality mental health professional is charging. So there should be some
Mechanism.
alternate method for that. Yeah.
Okay. So, we have like talking about your workshops. You organize so many activities. One of
Hmm.
the workshop is where people share their experiences, which is a very
Yes.
sensitive thing to do. So, how comfortable people are sharing their experiences? Please tell us. And after that, please tell us that in normal life, like people who are not part of your workshop,
Hmm.
how how they can maybe support their loved ones who are going through the same experiences.
Okay. So in our workshops, believe me, in most of the workshops we do, uh, there are people who come and say that, I have had a experience of suicide, or I have thought of giving up my life, and uh, and they find the space as very comfortable, and that is the reason they speak out openly. And believe me, a lot of people break down during the session saying that, I in so many years I never had an opportunity to talk, or to share my feelings, or to share my anger. I was so angry for so many years that my brother uh, killed himself, and I was the last person, and I didn't answer the call because I was in a meeting, but I was so angry for not answering that call. So when people get space, they do talk about it. When they find the environment comfortable, they do talk about it. When they find that somebody is there to listen to you, they do talk about it. So in
I'm
the workshops we have these kind of incidents.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
So that was an example. My brother's was an example which a lady told me in
Okay.
during the workshop.
Yeah, I mean, it's really sad to hear that. When lockdown started and all of a sudden people were committing suicides, I was actually calling most of my friends. Maybe I was not in touch for last 2-3 years. I was
Yeah.
calling, I was doing Zoom calls, and I was keeping a check that please talk. Please be in touch. Don't do something stupid, because uh, all of a sudden we were alone in this world. Like
Yes.
like for youngsters who I believe are like people who commit suicide. Out of them, youngsters, their number is really high who commit suicide. So. In real life you're very busy, going out, work, then partying, then traveling. All of a sudden we are inside our own home, and all these thoughts came into the mind, and we see like lot of people are committing suicide, young guys and girls, which unfortunately I also knew few people committed suicide. So it's like I was just keeping tab on everyone I could, and I was just telling my own friends that please talk to your people, they should not do something stupid. And it's very sensitive thing, and I should not call it stupid maybe, but it's very sensitive. It's very, I mean, it's very sad when so we know like what people go through. So anyway, so now please tell us, like for example, say me or my friends are we have some friends that who are going through the same issue. I know we cannot solve the problems, but what would your suggestions for the friends and family would be whose loved ones are going through the same experience, how they
Sure.
can.
Sure. I'll answer that. But before that, this word commit suicide is a very derogatory term. Because see, you don't commit a heart attack. You don't commit a road accident. you die by a road accident or you die by suicide. Okay. We don't want to blame the person who has died by suicide. So when we say he committed suicide, we say that he has committed a sin, but it's not a sin. It's the pain which was unbearable for him or her, and that's the reason he or she has taken this extreme step. So within our families, within our friends, we should start changing that vocabulary a bit, so that we can start breaking the taboo around this. When see You understand what I'm trying to say, that it's we don't want to blame the person who has done this act. We don't want to He was already under so much pressure that we don't want to call him a sinner anymore, so it's always die by suicide. And fortunately, a lot of media has started realizing this, and now the reporting is little more sensitive than earlier.
Yes, definitely. You're absolutely right
Yeah,
about that.
yeah.
So,
So,
yeah, please continue.
and I would like to continue. What can you as a friend or a family or a brother or sister can do? So first is try and recognize the signs, the warning signs the person is giving. Okay. Ask questions. Do you think you're suicidal? Do you think you want to leave the world? What are your problems? And start building conversations, start acknowledging the feelings, start validating the feelings, and start listening to the person. So listening is a little different from hearing. Listening also involves heart. Hearing just involves ears. So just process the information and listen. There is a short story associated with this. So telling you, during the World War II, there was this Dr. Victor, and he was the psychiatrist, a very well-known psychiatrist from the World War II. And this lady calls him up at 3 a.m. Uh, trying to say that I'm going to kill myself and I'm going to not live on this earth anymore because there's so much stress and everything. So doctor kept speaking to her for 1.5 hours, trying to calm her down, trying to stop that suicide, and he succeeded in stopping that suicide. After 2-3 days, this lady comes to the clinic, and the doctor asked her one question: that what stopped you? Which of my statements stopped you from dying by suicide? And she said, in so many years, I didn't have anybody who could listen to me. By giving me that ear, you have given me a life. That is what that lady responded. So as a friend, as a mother, as a brother, whoever, whichever role you are in, listen to the person, listen to the feelings, validate the feelings. Also take all the signs, all the words of suicide very, very seriously. So it is not that if the person is saying that I will kill myself, it means the person has a plan to kill himself or herself. It doesn't mean that this is just for threatening or this is blackmailing. No. If the person is saying something, believe the person and start offering the support to the person. So what kind of support can you offer? Encourage the person to call up suicide prevention helplines or hotline numbers, or reach out a mental health professional. Support that person or encourage that person to build that courage that that person can walk down to a mental health professional. So start giving that support. Encourage the person to seek treatment and start giving those messages that it is okay to take medicines if you're having mental health problems, and if a psychiatrist has prescribed the medicines, take those medicines. We know a lot of cases where people are being told to take medicines, but because they feel that they will manage the situation, they will manage their mental health problem, they don't take those regular medicines. So it is very important to take the medicines if it is prescribed by a psychiatrist or a mental health professional. Then encourage the person to communicate. If the communication could be angry, the person could be feeling guilty, but start talking to the person. Don't be
Absolutely.
judgmental at all. So if the person, a lot of us, we make that mistake that if somebody is sharing their feelings, we said, "Arey, but your problem is smaller to that. Why?" We start making those comparisons. So don't make that comparisons. Don't devalue the feelings the person has. So when we try to compare, we are devaluing the person's feelings. So don't be judgmental, and don't say things like this which which are comparative in nature. Then don't promise to keep the suicidal thoughts as secret. You might have to seek help from other people in the family, from the friends, from a doctor. You might need a lot many people to help you come out of that suicidal thoughts, or help your family member who is going through that to come out of those thoughts. So don't keep this a secret. Like a lot of young college students tell me this, that my friend had told me, but this was our secret, so I didn't tell this to the mother. But you lose an individual if you keep secrets. These are not safe secrets to be kept. We need to try uh, and also don't keep that promises that oh, I will keep it a secret, you can tell me. And then if the person does something, then we as caregivers would be really guilt that why didn't we tell, or why didn't we ask for help. Hmm, keep on constantly reassuring that the problems are temporary, but the suicidal thought or suicidal action could make a permanent damage.
You're absolutely
So yeah, so try and offer that reassure the people that things will be better, this is just a matter of time. If the person is extremely you know having is in distress, discourage alcohol, discourage drug use, discourage anything which can impact their mental health condition, worsen their mental health condition. So discourage those things. Remove the lethal means which are there in that room, which are there in that place where you are sitting. It could be small pins, it could be blades, it could be if it's in kitchen, there could be knives or other sharp objects. Remove that from the person's vicinity. Try and remove in India, a lot of women use phenyl or those toilet washing liquids. So to remove even those can be harmful. And try and make social connections, try and build more positive relationships.
absolutely.
Yeah. And as I'm saying, repeating, uh, take all talks about suicide very very seriously, and believe one thing, that it is we can fight suicide together if we work as a team.
Absolutely, and it's the need of the hour. It's very important in today's time,
Yeah.
especially now. Lockdown is, since lockdown started, now things are going back to normal, but it will still take time. So many people have lost jobs, and
Yeah.
people have so many other issues, personal issues going on. So it's very important to be there with your loved ones. It's very important. But I remember watching a video where. This young girl, I think from a very small town in I think Uttar Pradesh, she jumped off from the roof, and
Mm.
people, instead of stopping her and all, they were recording it. And there was this recording where they have shown that she has jumped off from very high floor, and she just fell down and she's dead. So I think people act very irresponsibly. Social media has a purpose why it's there. It's not to spread such things. It's very
Mm.
disheartening. So yeah, so that was my last question. So before we wrap up, would you like to share something with our audience and viewers, which they should keep in mind?
Yes, I would like to share one thing, that bring mental health conversations to your dining table. Talk about people, like talk to your children, talk to your uh, adults in the house. If you are a college going student, talk to your parents, because maybe your parents are not exposed as much as you are. So bring those mental health conversations to your dining table, and maybe a couple of times you will fail, but you will start spreading and breaking the stigma. So bring those conversations within your homes. Just don't keep it stuck to your Insta statuses. Bring it to your homes.
Definitely, definitely. Thank you very much for joining us. It was a wonderful session. And to our viewers, if you need any kind of help, I will, through this medium, we would like to connect, and I'm sure Ketki can help us, guide us more in future. So come out, share your stories with us, and you have any issues, then we will definitely connect you with the organization. We would love to help.
Yes.
So thank you so much for joining us, Ketki. Thank you so much. Take
Thank you.
care. Thank you.